5%, 10 on every car that I own. Put the strike in track mode while I listen to Bone. Black on black 45, need another in chrome. If I don't hit you, then my bitch will want you walking my home. First flight to Jamaica, next one to Bahamas. I'm gon' win no matter what. God made me a promise. Just bought so much dogelon that I just added 2 commas. I tell my son believe in himself and respect his mama. Make sure you get to your money, invest in yourself, and go follow your dreams. Daddy ain't who.
What's up, crypto family? Hope you guys are having a blessed day. Thank you for everybody who's been locked in with me, and especially Meme Lord. I hope you guys are still sending out prayers for Meme Lord so he can heal, and we will win. We will win in this space. We will win in the future, and our generations of children's will be winning. But I wanted to point this out to you guys before we kick this off. Breaking: Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says the whole crypto sector will go mainstream. Let's go.
How do you see the potential for more favorable regulations coming on them, and potential risks from that for the system?
You know, so we went through a wave of failures and fraud and things like that were the headlines for a couple of years, and I think what you see now is, and during that period, by the way, we were trying to work. We worked with Congress to try to get a framework, a legal framework for stable coins, which would have been a nice place to start. We were not successful. I think that the climate is changing, and you're moving into sort of more mainstreaming of that whole sector. So Congress is again looking at both the Senate and the House are looking at a framework, a legal framework for stable coins. You know, depending on what's in it, that's a good idea. We need that. There isn't one now. And stable coins are a digital product that could actually have fairly wide appeal and should contain consumer protections of the typical sorts and transparency. And that's what the Senate and the House are working on. So that's a positive thing. I also think some of the, you know, we took a pretty conservative, and other bank regulators took an even more conservative perspective on the guidance and rules we imposed on banks. I think there'll be some loosening of that, and I think we'll try to do it in a way that preserves safety and soundness, but that, you know, permits and fosters appropriate innovation, but that does so in a way that again doesn't put consumers at risk in ways they don't understand or make banks less safe and sound.
You guys heard it. So right now, as what you guys see, man, you heard Jerome Powell speaking about the crypto sector. You guys have been experiencing a lot with the tariffs around the world. The states you're in, the city you're in, prices are up. But I only feel like it's going to be great for us. But further ado, I want to welcome everybody to Mr. Meme Lord. What's going on, brother?
How you doing? How's everybody doing out there?
Okay.
I'm glad you're feeling better. You know, I know you were going through some stuff.
Yes.
You know, so I'm glad you're doing good. I'm doing good. Today I got some news from the doctor. I have to get like a blood platelet transfusion because my platelets are low. They're supposed to be at 150 to 400, and I'm at 12. So this is the second one. It's not a big deal. I already got one, but it's just another bump in the road, but nothing too bad. You know, so I'm already halfway there with the chemo. My 7th one is next Thursday, or next Wednesday, should I say. But other than that, I'm glad you're doing good as well. Good to hear your voice. Good to see you. It's been a while.
Thank you, bro. I feel like it's been like a month I haven't seen you guys. Well, me and you doing the live, yes, it's been a little while. You know what I'm saying? I greatly apologize about that. But we gotta get
health first. Always your health.
You're right.
I say it like this: we're no good to anybody if we're not healthy. All right.
You're definitely right, Meme Lord. Now you say you have some juicy information, some of the good and some of the bad. So we're ready for you.
So the good news is long term we're bullish, right? So we're in the AB, well, not AB, sorry. We're in the 1, 2, 3, 4 correction right now. So the fourth correction wave, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Elliott wave theory. So right now we're on the fourth one, which is going down. But long term, we're looking like at 106K, hopefully within like 3 weeks to a month. Don't hold me to it because you never know what could happen. Then after that, we're going to be going through the ABC correction, which means going up, down, up, down. So, the good thing is the bull run's not canceled, right? So that's a good thing. And I know I get messages every day, when I can answer them. Hey, what's going on? Everything's down, including Elon. And then you have the fudders to say, oh, Elon's down like 50, 60%. So what I do is I get SHIB, Doge, and Floki, and some other meme coins that are well known, and I take a picture of the year chart. Actually, if you look, all of them are the same except for Floki went down like 80% for the year from now till this year, or for the year. So it's not that Elon's going down, everything's going down. And for me, it's like a fire sale, bro. I've been buying left and right, especially XCN. Have you seen? Oh man, because of you. I'll be honest with you, usually I make calls, you made that XCN call. And I went up, I think like 150% to 200% within like 4 months that I bought it, 5 months that I bought it. So you called a good one on that one because I didn't know about it. So I was like, thank you.
Bro, XCN is connected with On Chain, and it's connected with a lot of other. I believe not to be a moon boy, but I see it kind of compared to Ondo.
Yeah, and BlackRock's involved. They've been buying it too, and I think Trump's company has bought it, and a couple other VCs, venture capitalists. So, man, I made some good gains on there, and I sold it. I sold it when it went high, half of it, and then when it goes down lower, I buy in more. Like that's my strategy. Not everybody has the same one. They ride it till the wheels fall off. So, yeah.
So Meme Board is speaking about XCN. I'll put it up on the screen real quick.
Onyx coin, man, that's a good coin.
There you go. It's a penny.
Yep, and it started off, I think, at 2 zeros. Well, when I bought it, I think it was like 206 or 5 or 4, something around there. Yeah. So other than that, like everybody gets scared of the tariffs. I'm not scared of the tariffs because I know. Yeah, and for me, I'm not political. I'm not right or left. I see where the money's going, what they're doing with the money, because that's all that matters. Is not money like that. It should matter, where your money's going, where all the like venture capitalists and all these people that are money makers, and control the money. You got to watch them. Don't watch all this political BS. You got to watch where they're putting their money at. That's where it's at. So with the tariffs, a lot of people were, fighting against me and texting me, calling me, my students too. They're like, hey, what happened? You said it was going to go high. I said it was going to go high August through November. We're not there yet. And I said, these tariffs is just a scare tactic. I said this like 2 months ago before he paused them. And I said, it's a scare tactic in order to shake the market. And in order to shake, of course, he's messing with China, because they're the third largest import of United States. I think first is Canada and Mexico. I think Mexico's first, Canada second, and then China's third. So, China, it's basically a pissing contest. That's what it is right now. And nobody's losing right now. I would say if you're buying all the dips, you're going to win in the end. And that's what they're doing. They're shaking out the retail investors, out of their bags. And then it just goes back up. If you've seen, he paused it, and then it went up to 86K from 76K. And I even called it like 4 weeks before we went to 76K. I said, I think we were talking at this. I mean, that's when we did our last live, when I said, you're looking at, because we're in a descending triangle, and usually it builds pressure and breaks down. And I said 76K to 69K, because 69K has been our 5-year resistance, or support. Support. So if it hit that, it's not going lower than that unless, God forbid, something happens, a war or whatever. But these tariffs, the good thing about them, everything is going to cost more. But guess what? It's going to make the dollar go down. The Dixie chart, DXY. Look at the Dixie chart. Always look at where the dollar's going. And for me, I think it's going to be going lower. And when the dollar gets lower, where do people put their money at? Stocks, Bitcoin, and gold. So for me, I think that's what it's going to do: lower the dollar dominance a bit, and then Bitcoin's going to shoot up. So remember, he's pausing them for 3 months. And if you notice, he says, "Oh, on electronics and certain items, they said that they're not going to put tariffs on that, just on other stuff." So
Right.
I would tell people, don't worry. Don't get scared, especially the bull run coming up. You don't want to drop your bags now, especially if you've been in it for 4 years. You were there for the bear market. You were there for the FTX collapse. You were there 4 years that crypto was getting strangled by all these laws and BS. How Jerome Powell was saying all these like laws on there that didn't make sense. But for me, it didn't matter, if it was Republican or Democrat. What it was the banks, like suppress, like telling these members of Congress and all these bill and lawmakers, hey, if you say crypto's bad, we'll give you some money, because that's what the banks do. They control the money. And if many people are not wanting to put their money in banks, where are they going to put it? Crypto stocks and gold. So they were scary. Everybody's scared of crypto, especially now that Trump's in office and all these bills are going to get enacted where it's going to go with crypto instead of against it. That's why these tariffs, I think, are being put in place. Like I said, to make all the rich people buying more. Because if you noticed, how many times have you heard, oh, the tariffs, it went low. And then you see, oh, BlackRock bought this much Bitcoin. China bought this much Bitcoin. Even El Salvador bought this much Bitcoin. Come on, you think, these countries are going to be putting millions and millions of dollars into something that they think is going to go down later on this year, or the tariffs are going to mess it up? No, because they know what's going to happen. They're into economics, and business economics. So they know what's going on. I know what's going on. And now you guys know what's going on. So,
Facts.
yeah. So that, I would say, to all the dogelon, people who are holding, or family who are holding, I would say, don't get scared. When you saw dogelon at 1100, well, 6 zeros 11, 6 zeros 12, 6 zeros 13, bro, I said I wasn't buying no more dogelon. And when it hit 6 zeros 11, I'm not gonna lie, I put 25 more grand in there. I said, I've been holding my USDC on the side, because that's what I do. Like
Right.
I day trade, weekly trade, and usually my TA is like 98% accurate. I say 98 because 2% of it, you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
But I knew it was going to 76K. I had a whole bunch of buy orders on all my coins, and they executed too. Like some of them were like Dogelon. I had it at 709 to 6011. So the 6011 one, that one activated. And I'm not gonna lie, when it was 709, I had a $50,000 buy order. I was like, I ain't playing, because I know what's gonna happen. And if you notice, Dogelon's been quiet, but have you seen what they've been posting? They've been posting some stuff that looks like we're almost ready for the launch of Rufus Chain. I don't know if you've seen it, like all the stuff they've been posting.
I just now catching up. I'm just now catching up. So
Yeah.
shoot, if you got it, let me know.
Yeah. But I know, and then the beta testing's almost over, because they said that they're collecting all the data now. And I think they said they had said 2 to 3 weeks. So I think this is the last week, but they haven't said anything. Beta testing might be over, but there was like a couple glitches and stuff that they were fixing. So we were having problems with it, not in a bad way. This is why they have beta testing, to see what's going on. So, like I told people before, what you're seeing in the beta testing is only like 10% of what's going to be released. Like they've only seen 10%, which is only connecting your wallet, building on it, but it's not showing. Well, what they did say was, every time you build something, you have to have Dogelon in your wallet, right? When
Right.
you build anything you build, it burns the elon that it costs to make that whatever
Right.
building or whatever you want.
That's what they
Yeah.
understanding me, Lord.
Yeah. So, dude, I'm gonna say they have like 4 burn mechanisms in there. Why? Well, which ones are they? Well, one I just explained. Then, in order, like, say it's a play to earn, right? So, in order to, like, let's say if you made $30 for the day or $100 in Dogelon for the day, well, guess what? You have to transfer that into your wallet. That's another burn. Then, when you buy, sell, or like a trade land, because it's going to be an NFT,
Right.
there's another burn. Then any transactions, that's another burn. Then, like when how they said Rufus Chain, well, AI Metaverse, one of the applications being used by Rufus blockchain. So that's telling you, like I've said in so many times, developers are already probably building on it because they said one of the many applications. So one of the many, that means there's probably like 10 or more, like a handful of them. And then that burns more Elon because in order to interact with the chain, they need to buy Elon in order to do any kind of building on it. So that's another burn. So, dude, there are so many burns that I think they did say they were going to burn a lot of the supply. We haven't seen that yet, and a lot of people are complaining. And like I tell them, why would they do anything right now? Because if they release anything right now and the market is how it is, it's going to be like baby Doge. You know how many people were waiting for them to go and list on Binance? They listed on Binance, it went up to 150%, whoop-de-doo, and then now look where it's at. I mean, everything's down, like 50, 60, 70%, but that didn't even get them anywhere. And
No.
that's with that's with no utility. So that's why I say hang in there. I know it's a bumpy ride, but don't lose faith because you know what's coming. I
Fact.
could see and I could see if we had no utility. If I said, oh, we're just a meme coin that's going to go up, we're going to the moon, bro, or to the Mars, and there's no utility, then I can safely say, nah, bro, this thing is only going to lose like maybe 1 0, 2 zeros at the most. But what they're building, go ahead.
And like what you were saying about the whole burning mechanism, and this is why, and that's good that you brought that up. So do you see where I'm coming from now? Where not just that, you could also create tokens on Rufus Chain. So
Right.
if you're putting in 2 to 3 grand, and honestly, shout out to all the big whales, shout out to all the holders. But do you see how also whales are spending 100 grand on Elon? So imagine how much is that fee for 100 grand?
When the burn mechanism comes out. Yep. Yeah. It's going to be like for me, the 25 that I spent, I think my fee was like 400. That would have burned like $400 worth of Elon if I would have, because this is what they're going to do on the Rufus chain. If you noticed, because I know you've been busy, but the website for the Dogelon metaverse is play.dogelon-mars.com. So I'm thinking not only is it going to be like a wallet extension, Rufus maybe, but also it's going to be like a www dot maybe Rufus blockchain.com, or something like that. And guess what? They're going to have a swap on there. It has to have a swap. So
it's a reason why we're on Caldera. It's a reason why we have Bitcoin rooms. It's a reason, baby.
Exactly. So to me, that they're going to launch like a Rufus swap or a swap. Hopefully they don't, because with the swap, sometimes you don't need to create another token, but I don't think they are. I've always said they're not. They're just wanting to use Elon as the native token to burn and interact. So, dude, like I said, they're going to put a swap on there because in order to do, like, let's say, in order to interact with the metaverse, you need a swap on there. Why are they going to use, something else? I know you can use MetaMask, Trust Wallet, and whatever, but that's just for the time being. Maybe they're going to do, like I said, a Rufus swap or a Mars swap, maybe something cool like that, maybe something different. But to me, once they implement the Rufus chain and hopefully there is a swap, oh man, that's when you're going to be able to do your NFTs. You're going to be able to buy, sell, trade your land. You're going to be able to do everything on there, including buying Dogelon. Because why would you want to use Ethereum? I hate Ethereum, by the way, the gas fees. But why would you want to use Ethereum when you can use Rufus, or a swap they have, which is cheaper and faster and more secure, and because you're going to have it on the swap and in your wallet. You know, it's like basically yours, you know, not your keys, not your crypto. So it's going to be like a medium wallet. Well, I call it a medium hot wallet, like a lukewarm wallet, meaning you have your keys, but it's still on lines. You know, of course, you have your cold wallet, which is your ledgers and blah, blah, blah. So to me, they're going to make a swap. They have to make a swap. There's no way they can't not make a swap.
Okay. Now
So,
check this
yeah.
out. Check this out, meme lord. Now, with all this being said, right? So all right. So you guys see this $22 trillion in Bitcoin. That's one. But where is that money coming from for $22 trillion Bitcoin? Tariffs. Okay. We have this great burn. All right. Now, before I wanted to show you guys this. You guys see the circulating supply? Meme Lord, I know you see this too, right?
Yeah.
If you click on this, you see percent of supply in circulation is 54%. 54%, 0.96 is in the circulation right now. I can't say if that is the great burn and we're not seeing the effect of the token circulating supply went down. But if it's not the great burn and we're only at 54%, and they do this great burn, let's just say what Parabolic Paul had pointed out. If they burn 128 trillion tokens, something like that, what he threw out, and it will leave us like 400 something trillion. We leave that
for 2069. That's what he was saying.
Well, how much?
Oh, it would leave us with 42069.
Okay.
Now, you know, play on 42069. So yeah.
Now, 42069. We're not now. That's the burn. We're just throwing you guys out some numbers, right? If they burn that much, so it'd be left out with 420 or 42069, and then the great Rufus come. Now, there's plenty of ways it could be burning, and I'm just gonna throw one major corporation, McDonald's. We're just gonna throw them out because we know that McDonald's is following dogelon-mars. We know that a couple years, dogelon-mars had made a post that he was on Mars in McDonald's eating a McFry.
The McMartian meal.
Right. Now, McDonald's is like $250,000 is nothing. $250,000 is nothing, and I don't even believe that they're going to spend that less in dogelon-mars if they're going to go ahead and build on their metaverse. So let's just say we'll throw out light numbers. McDonald's said, okay, we'll throw 5 million. Imagine that burn. That's just one corporation. We're not talking about these other entities that may be joint partners with dogelon-mars that want to build on the metaverse or create a token on the metaverse or use Rufus Chain as their payment, cross-border transactions. Again, like XRP payments, we'll have the Rufus Chain where we can have cross-border payments. Also, swapping, just like what Meme Lord said. I know I'm giving out a lot of information, but I want you to stay with me. Once all that happens, now we have tariffs. Now we're going to have the $22 trillion Bitcoin challenge. All this money is coming around the world, and they're putting it into digital currency. And in the beginning, like what I said, 2 zeros. 2 zeros. That could be the end game. But with the great burn, Rufus dropping, $22 trillion Bitcoin challenge, that's just with the governments and the world. This is not including billionaires, millionaires, who are just retail investors dumping their money into digital currency or into just dogelon-mars. I say a high 4 zeros, like what you said, Meme Lord. High 4 0. I believe that will be the beginning game. I believe we'll sit at 5 zeros for a good month. For a good month during this phase. 5 zeros for a good month. Then sit at 4 zeros. And I'm just throwing out numbers, and you could correct me after I'm done here, because I want to hear your opinion, Meme Lord. All right.
Yeah.
Now we're having crazy FOMO. Now people are seeing that dogelon-mars is sitting at 5 zeros. We've been at 6 zeros for 3 years. That boost, we're up to 4 zeros. People are selling. I'm gonna give you an example like Onyx Coin. Yeah, we were sitting at 5 cents in 2022. Haven't seen 5 cents for about a good 3 years, but we ran up to 2 cents. People who bought in below 2 cents sold their bag. And like what you said, Meme Lord, when it goes up, you sell. When it drops, you reaccumulate. So there's going to be a lot of psyching out of the retail investors. The whales are going to be psyching you out. Now, of course, there's going to be some whales that's able to sell $1 trillion or $2 trillion at a high 4 zeros, but they know that it could go up a lot more higher. So they push you away. It's going to feel like they're dumping on you. So when they're dumping, regular retail investors say, well, you know what? Let me hurry up and sell dogelon-mars at 4 zeros, because I don't want to sit at 6 zeros ever again and then get wrecked. Then it goes all the way back up. So I'm going to let you comment me back on this, and then I'm going to get on with some more information. I'll let you run it, Meme Lord.
Yeah. So going on TA, my technical analysis with no Coinbase listings, no utility, I saw like 5 zeros 9 to 4 zeros 4, the highest. Okay, that's what I got on my TA. And like I said, usually my TA is good, but you never know. And then, but that's not so. That now let's go with Rufus, the AI metaverse. Let's just take out the AI metaverse. Let's just go with the Rufus blockchain,
Correct.
Coinbase, Binance listing. And you know for sure when Binance, Coinbase, I know for sure Robinhood. You know, and what's the other big one? I forgot. There's 4 of them. There's another one I'm missing.
People are using Webull as well.
Oh, that maybe possibly that one, and Kraken. We're not on Kraken, remember? Yeah.
Correct.
So I would say with all that, you're looking at maybe like 4 zeros 8 to 3 zeros 1. And I'm not a moon boy, all right? I don't give false hope, hopium, whatever they call it. I go by TA.
Back. Say that again. Say that again. I want you to say that again. What you just said. So I want people. This went over a lot of people's heads just then. Repeat that what you just said, Meme Lord.
So with all the utility, Coinbase, Binance, Kraken, Robinhood listing, I said 4 zeros. Like I said, 4 zeros 8 to 3 zeros 1, and that's not hopium. That's not moon boy, and that's me not holding with my heart. I hold with my head. You know what I mean? The heart deceives. The head will tell you that's a good investment. That's not a good investment, right? So to me, that's what we're looking at. Don't hold me to it because things can change. But come on, how many meme coins did you see that went up?
Hello? Meme Lord. I think he went out of signal. Oh, shit. He'll be back. He'll be back. As you guys heard what Meme Lord said, easy 4 to 3 zeros with just the Rufus Chain and the Great Burn. And when I say, I seen someone says, can't get wrecked if you gain profits. You're absolutely correct. You can't get wrecked. But at the end of the day, they want you to sell. If you make major gains, if you got over 100 billion tokens.
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Let's say 50 billion. Yeah, I can hear you. 50 billion tokens. You made a lot of gains. But just like what Meme Lord said, 3 zeros. So you're saying that you're going to sell your whole bag. And I don't question anybody about their position, about their money. You do what you please. And I've been riding since 2020. So you're telling me that you're going to liquidate your whole portfolio at 3 zeros, and then thinking that you're going to have an entry point like what we have been experiencing at 6 zeros. We'll run it. We'll go down to the 1100s, shoot back up to the 1400s, and retrace back down. That's where a lot of people are going to get effed up. That's what I'm expecting. But keep on going, Lord, what you were saying.
Okay, so I know where I left off at. So with, like I said, I don't do hopium, none of that BS. I don't hold with my heart, I hold with my head. Look at Trump coins, fart coins. Fart coin, I think, was like at what, like 3 cents, and then it went up to $5 or $4. And that thing don't even have no utility. So imagine a meme coin that says, hey, we have a blockchain. And this is where people, come back at me. And I'm like, look, bro, I got 8 years experience. And I'm not, like, what is it called? The peacocking, I have a little bit of app development and a little bit of computer programming skills. And what I tell people is when they're going to say, well, SHIB has a blockchain. No, remember, it's a protocol, which only what it does is it sets the rules for a blockchain. It does hold it on the blockchain, all the transactions, but not really. Okay, that's one. So a protocol is what Shibarium is. You guys can look it up, Google it, and put, is SHIB a protocol or a blockchain? You put it in, it'll tell you it's a protocol. Let's go to Floki. They're going to say the same. Well, Floki has a blockchain. No, they don't. They use TokenFi in order for you to create, or for the developers to create it, but they host it on, what do you call it? Like, let's say Floki, but it's really developed on TokenFi. So they don't even have a blockchain. It's not a blockchain. And then I think, what's the other big one? Doge. Doge don't have nothing. No developers. I know they did do a blockchain for it, but it's old technology and it's expensive. So and that's not even that, like, devs are not even a part of it. Somebody just created it and said, here. So that one just rules on what Elon Musk said, and I'm glad we don't rely on BS like that. So when people come at us, you can tell them what I just told you, why Elon is going to be different. Then they're going to say, okay, well, there's blockchains that were created that also have a burn mechanism. Yeah, that's true. But this one is targeted towards more Web3, AI, metaverse, GameFi, DeFi, because DeFi, there's a reason why I think there's going to be a lot of DeFi protocols on there, is because we have the highest locked liquidity of any meme coin out there. Do your research, everybody. You'll see even some of the biggest meme coins out there, we have the highest locked liquidity in the meme coin space.
And that means we're bigger than SHIB family. We're bigger than PayPay. We're bigger than all them.
Exactly. And what happens when you have high locked liquidity? Guess what comes? Not just the price, but stable coins. That's the big one. And they were just saying they want to regulate stable coins where they're, they have the proper, laws, and so people don't get burned, and scammed. When you have high locked liquidity, that means a stable coin is coming. And to me, that's why I think, when they had what's his name? Methuselah. They had the dog with the long beard and the red robe, and they had him holding USDC bags. To me, that's saying we're gonna have, we're USDC, but we're gonna make our own stable coin. And I think that's where they're going. And because of DeFi, with the decentralized finance, the other thing is you need a high locked liquidity. And DeFi, what it does is you can borrow and get loans rather than go to the bank. That brings more transactions, more money. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the more things get built on Rufus, man, that it's going to be insane. And we're not going to see the price go up, because we're burning. It takes a while for, the burning to take effect on the price. But what you are going to see is a lot of FOMO, a lot of like even check this out. What I don't understand how, people, they get a little mad and upset, and they're like, well, there's no Binance, no Coinbase listing, and everything else is getting listed. Doesn't that tell you that they know what they're doing. They're waiting for a utility to come out because they want full FOMO. You know, you don't want to just, you know, to sound dirty, but you just don't want your pickle tickled. You know, you know, you want you know, the whole kit and caboodle. So I think the reason why there's no listings yet is everybody is waiting for the boom. And I think that's when what dogelon-mars, when he posts, remember, if you notice, he says the dogelon-mars super cycle is coming. And to me, I think, yeah, and to me, I think that's utility, burning, and all the major listings are going to come out. Because come on, bro, like Giga Chad got on there, a couple other part of my language, shitty coins that have no utility and just a money grab made its way on Binance and on Coinbase. So if we didn't make it on Coinbase and we have high lock liquidity, we have all this coming out and they still haven't listed us, that tells you there's some kind of agreement with maybe with the devs and them saying, hey, don't list us right now because we want to go to Mars. We're not looking for the moon, you know? So that's why I say something's coming and it's boiling. It's like a pot, you know, it's just boiling before you throw the lobster in there. So to me, I'm glad we're not listed on any major exchanges yet, because then we would just get like 100% to 150%, and then we would go back down. And then everybody's going to complain, well, see, you didn't do nothing much. Well, because look at the market and it was just a listing. I think they're waiting for the utility first.
Meme Lord, 2026, 2 zeros.
Like 2-0, you're talking about like losing 4 zeros in 2026?
In 2026, at the end of, say, in October, we should see 2 zeros. That's just my speculation.
I would say maybe like 3 zeros 5, but depending. See, this is what we don't know is who, because this is what they said, and this is from dogelon-mars official. They said on a lot of their X spaces, they said we have major partnerships in the metaverse. Okay, that's one. Then they said we have major partnerships with crypto projects for Rufus blockchain. That's what they said. So that's why I say, man, the sky's the limit. I know people say we're gonna be at like a 50 billion market cap. I'm gonna be honest with you, we won't ever see that, because that would be the equivalent of like taking what, like half of I forgot what crypto project. It's in the top 10, but that would be like taking like 2 projects full market cap away. And I'm not a, what do you call it? I'm not a Debbie Downer or bashing it, but I think the most we'll see is like either a 10 to $20 billion market cap. That's possible from what I've seen from other meme coins. But with the burn and lowering the supply, who knows how much we'll burn from now till 2026? You know, even maybe even by 2023 or 2030, you know, people are gonna say, well, that's a long time. Okay, but you know what happens another between that, another Bitcoin halving, you know? So to me, is it possible to go to a penny? I would say so, but not in 2 years, 3 years, maybe 4 to 5 years, you know, on the next bull run, because we're a meme coin that's been around since what? Well, it's going to be 4 years now. We've survived the bear market. We survived the FTX collapse. How many other, like Saitama? Remember? Oh, Saitama to the moon and all these something e-news, bro. They're gone. They're history. I haven't heard nothing. And even like my ladies, right? And I'm not bashing. Oh, look at, man, Elon Musk posted it. Okay, bro. What's your utility? You know, that's why when they said all I need is 2, I think they posted Dogelon said all I need is 2 more stones or 2 more, and I'll snap out all these meme coins out of existence. Most of them, that's what they mean, is the utility we're bringing is going to overshadow them. It's not going to, we're not, you know, I never use, you know, like when people say, oh, this is an Ethereum killer. No, the word I use is we're going to steal a lot of the market cap from a lot of these cryptos and a lot of these meme coins. For sure. Oh, I can't hear you. I think you're mic'd.
Oh shoot, my bad. The dogs are
Oh,
barking.
you're good. Oh, no, you're good. I was like,
This is what I want to get at. All right, guys. So as what Meme Lord was saying, and you guys seeing around the world and on the news that our dollar is decreasing. Buying power of a dollar in the 1800s. This chart shows a calculation of buying power equivalents for $1 in 1800. Price index tracking began in 1635. That's the year. For example, if you started with $1, you will need to end with $25.38 in order to adjust for inflation, sometimes referred to as beating inflation. So as you guys see, from the 1800s to 2024, we're at $25.38. When $1 is equivalent to $25.38 over time, that means the real value of a single US dollar decreases over time. In other words, a dollar will pay for fewer items at the store. This effect explains how inflation erodes the value of a dollar over time. By calculating the value in $1,800, the chart below shows how $1 is worth less over 225 years. So this is what you guys are seeing of the buying power of a dollar over time. The dollar is about to be dead. Right now, it's on life support. It's not even worth a dollar right now since the 1635, really. So when they say cryptocurrency is going mainstream, and I respect your speculation, meme lord, and your knowledge, but where I'm aiming at is this. Look where we're at. We're not even worth 10 cents. We're probably worth 10 cents right now, our dollar, from the 1800s. They're going mainstream on digital currency. This is the reason why we are having a race, the $22 trillion Bitcoin challenge. Worse than 1971 US dollar price collapse. And we're at that verge. So when I say the Great Reset, and you heard Dan Pena, you heard a lot of these major financial evangelists like Grant Cardone, and especially, I got to give him his flowers, Robert Kiyosaki. He has been telling you guys this over the years. I don't hold fake money. I hold real value. Silver coins, Bitcoin, well, really crypto, and real estate. If you don't have either of those, you're going to be wrecked. I don't care what anybody else say. You could buy you a McLaren. That McLaren is not going to be able to get you something else, because what you paid for that McLaren, you're not going to get that back unless you don't drive it and you hold it over the years, over a decade, really. So with this being said, family, you guys have to really understand this is why. And I seen somebody said 2026 will be a bear market. Okay, cool. Like what Meme Lord said, we don't know what can happen, what can transpire. But I really do believe, and I'm going to keep on saying this, I really do see us going a lot more higher than 4 zeros. dogelon-mars. This could be the great change. Again, we're 5 years away from 2030. Just remember that. But look how fast 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024 went. And then now we're in 2025. In April, look how fast time went. Because you guys have a goal, you guys have a vision, you guys know what you're doing. This is keeping most of you guys alive right now, because you know that you are going to obtain generational wealth, financial freedom. And this is not for me just to say it or a phrase. No, this is the truth. And again, 0.04% of the world holds digital currency. And that's not even, that's not, that's included retail investors. So if you guys only hold dogelon-mars, or you may hold 10 digital assets, but you may only hold 1,000 Dogecoin or 500 Dogecoin, $10 worth of this token. You're one of the 0.4%. And this is where I'm stating right here, as you guys see right here. Hold on, we'll get to that. But I want to get to this. This is how I expect the meme coin super cycle to play out. Everything is going according to plan. Buckle up. And shout out to Murad. So you guys see what's going on. We had these pumps, but we never had a pro-crypto administration. Remember that. My state, Florida, just passed their bill of a Bitcoin strategic reserve. New York is now accepting cryptocurrency as payment. So these years prior, 2024 and beyond, that's not shit. Excuse my language, but that's not shit. We didn't have all this that is going on right now and the administration that we have in right now. And this is not talking about politics. We never had that. And now Trump is kicking out the Congress of even trading stocks or digital currency. So with them getting out the loop of the Congress of you can't purchase this, you can't purchase that, you have to purchase it as a civilian. And as a civilian, that's also going to surge the market up a lot more higher. This is why Congress makes so much money. And we're like, well, how are they making so much money? Because they got in early. They got in early. And then they got out early as well because they knew when to sell. They're not going to manipulate it no more. So, I mean, Mingo, what you think, brother? Talk to me.
So going back to the Great Reset and what you were talking about, this goes back to the tariffs real quick. The reason why they're pushing the tariffs and they're pushing that department of, the Doge, of government efficiency, they're trying to save money because $37 trillion in debt. Remember I said 2 years is rollover refinance of $10 trillion.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the dollar's going to go down more because they're going to have to print that money. And what happens when you print more money? It goes down. So that's why they're pushing for the tariffs, because all these countries we owe money to, they're like, hey, we want our $10 trillion. We want our money. Or guess what happens? They refinance again and then a higher APR and then they owe more than that. So to me, the Great Reset is that's why they're buying Bitcoin, a shit ton of it, and a lot of other cryptos quietly. And that's why I think, like going back to what you said in 2026, remember, every time we have a bull run, the next 4 years, we're in a bear cycle. So I think the government is going to crash Bitcoin, not on purpose, but by selling a lot of their assets because they have to pay that $10 trillion. And if they crash the dollar and including with tariffs, it's really bad. But like you were saying is, yeah, dude, like it's gonna be a good year this year, but next year I think it's not gonna be that great. It's gonna go like we'll probably see Bitcoin the highest. We'll see it maybe like this year is like I said 150 to 200K, and then when everybody sells, we're probably gonna go down to like I don't want to say it, but like 80 to 90K, maybe 70. And then we won't see Bitcoin past 100K for a while just because everybody's selling. So that's my advice on it, But other than that, like long term is looking bullish and short term is looking bearish, but I say keep on buying. But yeah, look at those charts right there. You see the charts? The trend is your friend. Look at how much it went up. And we're like how much does that last one say? On there, the green one. What's the furthest on the last one?
Oh, this one here?
Yeah, where it says question mark. Where does it say it's going?
This is just sitting at what, about 90 grand. This is just
and the highest. And the highest, where's it's not saying it? Yeah, because
Nope.
when I do my TA, I had said 269K, but then I had said remember it could go way lower than that. because of all the all the VCs and then the government stepping in. Yes, it's good that they're stepping in because it's good for crypto, but it's also bad because they're here to make money too. That's what the government does. They make money. So that's why I said the great reset to me is they're going to be looking at crypto assets rather than gold, silver, and all this other BS. So to me, bro, it's going to be like a really bad bear market the next 4 years after this, but it's good because then we buy because we know better. You know, all these other people that are like, "Oh, man, Bitcoin went up to 150, 200K. You know, then they start buying and they're like, well, it went down. And guess what? They take their money out. And then here comes the VCs to buy in again. So put it this way: rainbow charts, the trend is your friend. To me, it's halfway thrown out the window, halfway, because now you have big money coming in. We've always had big money, but now we have even bigger and more money coming in.
But now check this out, don't mean Lord. They're trying to get rid of the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is what prints our dollar.
Yeah. That's why I said they're gonna have to print out some money, bro. They're gonna be printing out money. That's why Trump is trying to like figure it out because they gave like the prior administration, and like I said, I'm not blue or green or whatever colors, blue or red. I forgot their colors. I'm neither. But the last one, they were giving out so much free money. It was like freaking candy, bro. They were giving out money like it was candy. And that's what crashed the economy, and that's what messed us up. So Trump literally got handed a bag of shit. They're like, you need to fix this. And with the tariffs, everybody's like, well, he's crashing the market and he's doing this. And first of all, the last 4 years the market was crashed because too much money was getting printed out. Look at like the Dixie chart the last 4 years, bro. I think the dollar went down to even 97 cents.
Yes.
It wasn't even a dollar anymore. Yes. And so what he's trying to do by the tariffs is like, look, we need to get this debt out of here, or kind of cut it in half. They're like, it's like basically they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So they're looking at any ways to not crash the economy because, like I said, if the dollar dominance goes down, not many people are going to be spending. They're going to be putting their money into crypto. Because look at when you go to the Dixie chart, look at when it was low and then Bitcoin shot up like 30-40% because the dollar was just garbage.
Yep. You're right. You're absolutely correct what you're saying. But check this out, right? If this does happen, and I see people in the chat, they're saying, oh, I have to wait 2 more years. No, you don't have to wait 2 more years. You could choose to sell your position, at the end of the year when we shoot up a lot more higher. Of course, above 6 zeros. Of course, above 5 zeros. At least 4, depending on how long it will take for dogelon-mars. It's not even about dogelon-mars dropping Rufus. It's all about where that money is going from the tariffs that's going into the digital currency sector. That's what we're really waiting on. The Great Burn, Rufus, those are just extras. And what I mean by extras, that's going to burn up the circulating supply of dogelon-mars. And again, it may not make a major effect like what other digital currencies did. But with the dollar decreasing, the Fed printing, and our circulation supply of our tokens is shrinking, what could that tell you guys? What you think?
And even minus the burn mechanism, once Rufus Chain gets launched, I know people are not going to want to hear this. We're no longer a meme coin. We're a full-blown blockchain, minus even the AI metaverse. All right, just stick to that mentality: blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. That means that you're a utility and you're a full-fledged blockchain with a meme coin that is used for transactions only. You know, it's like, okay, right now, okay, yeah, you can buy and sell Elon. Okay, whoop-de-doo. But when Rufus comes out, now you have a utility where it's not a meme coin. There's no such thing as this kind of crypto, but I use it just for Elon. It's a transactional crypto, meaning now you're going to be able to use it to interact and to build on the metaverse and for transactions. So, like I said, interactions means when developers build on it, in order to build on it, they need to interact with Rufus and they need to buy Elon in order to build on it as well. You know, it's like the same thing like the AI metaverse, right? You know, you can't build unless you have Elon in your wallet, and then whatever it costs, like say, oh, okay, I'm gonna make a, you know, like let's say a whole land, and it's gonna cost you like maybe let's say $100. It could be less. You know, I don't know, whatever you're building. But imagine if like people say I'm gonna build this and this and that, and you have let's say 1,000 users, maybe 2,000, and each one of them spend $50, you know, to $100 to build their land and to buy the land. Did you see how much land is available there? So imagine if they say, if even like let's say the metaverse wasn't a hit and nobody liked it, but 70% of the land was purchased. You know how much transactions that is? You know, because land can be anywhere from 50 to 500 maybe, depending on how big you're buying, you know, how many plots you're buying. So don't quote me on how much it is, but we don't even know the partnerships too. So like I'm saying, oh man, like you might not have to wait 2 years to see 3 zeros. It could happen this year, you know, even when Bitcoin goes high.
Right.
You know, like I said, how many times have you seen these horrible meme coins that have no utility? It's just like a hype, FOMO, that went from like 30 cents to $5, even to $6. And I'm like, wow, that's like a $15 or $15 billion market cap they have. And then everybody takes out their money, because everybody is FOMOing in and they get wrecked. And then they look and they go, well, what happened? And I said, well, because it had no utility. It was just FOMO. So imagine what Elon can do with all that utility. Mine is the burn and the AI metaverse. Just think of the blockchain. You know, that's where it's at. Now, and we don't even know what features are in there. Like I said, I know for sure there has to be a swap. That's one. Two, hopefully they have what's called a meme toolkit where you're able to create and launch your own meme coin on there. But guess what? You have to pay a fee in order to do that. Where do you pay? With Elon. It burns it. So that's what I'm saying, man. I hope, I know they're going to have a lot of features because these devs are not dumb. They know exactly what they're doing. And like I said,
I still feel that burn. I still feel like it's going to go stupid, bro. And you're absolutely correct. I'm not saying, I'm not overriding your judgment and your knowledge because, you know, you made bank. You get what I'm saying? And
you're not. I don't see it that way. The way I'm seeing it is you're adding to it, because I'm just talking about that. I'm not even saying the burn is not going to do anything. I'm saying imagine with the utility and the burn. You know, that's a plus. You know, because how many times have we seen where meme projects and any project says, well, we burn 50% of the supply. Okay, what else you got, bro? You know, that's it. We have a burn mechanism and a blockchain and an AI metaverse and partnerships and all this stuff they've been doing, you know, so like you're adding to it. I don't see it as like, oh, you're saying, oh no, not the blockchain. No, you're adding to it. And I only say the blockchain and the AI I only say the blockchain just because that has a burn mechanism in it. So like what you're saying is adding to it, you know, it's like, bro, it's like a whole, you know, it's like, it's like, you know, the only way I can say is like, is when you wash your clothes, you know, you just don't put the soap in, you put fabric softener too, because you want to smell good. So it's kind of like, you know, you're adding to it.
And then what type of fabric softener? What type of laundry detergent are you using? And that's how I feel about dogelon-mars and the devs. The devs aren't using just any other type of laundry detergent. They're making sure that they ain't getting no mediocre laundry detergent. They're looking at Paracel. They're going to grab them some Paracel. And they're like, okay, well, the fabric softener, you know, we could get the Walmart brand note, and I'm not talking shit. I'm just giving you guys an example. But let's go ahead and use Bounce or what do you call it? I forgot the other one.
I would say the one that everybody has in their household is Suavitas, bro. The generic brand. It's still good, but there's nothing like. Have you seen those Downy Unstoppables? Those little beads you put in there, you smell your clothes for a week, bro. That's what they're using. They're using those Unstoppables.
So with that being said, man, and what not just the speculation, his analytics of what he was saying that, 2025, we can see high 4 zeros, high, probably low 3 zeros, right? And that's just what he was stating with the Rufus and what could go on. But with everything that is happening, see, our blockchain is ongoing. We already laid the blueprint with the NFTs. But before we keep on going, let me play this because I want everybody to listen. Trump administration says U.S. may buy Bitcoin using tariff revenue. Yes, we spoke about it, but I want you guys to listen.
But then I've also seen Letnick and others talk about this idea of, well, maybe there's external revenue that we can drive and be able to use that. So like, how are you guys maybe from a framework standpoint thinking about, okay, what are the ways that we could go buy more Bitcoin?
Well, I think that Senator Lummis has really an interesting idea with the Bitcoin Act of 2025, which I know has taken the community by storm. But here, what you would do is you'd revalue the gold certificates that we currently have at Treasury. Most of which are valued, I think, around like $43 an ounce, which is,
a lot lower than what it's really worth.
Correct. Yeah. So now we're sitting at what, $3,100 an ounce, with being the price of gold. And if you took that value, what you could do is use that extra funding in order to buy more Bitcoin that could be used for the reserve. But that's just one idea. And, that's currently circulating its way through Capitol Hill, and we'll see how many co-sponsors she can get and how she can pull her colleagues on board. But we're looking at many creative ways, whether it be from, tariffs, whether it be from something else. I mean, there's literally countless ways in which you can do this. And, I'll defer to, some of our members inside of the interagency working group to see what ideas they come up with inside of their own shops. But we'll look at everything. Everything's on the table. And like we've said, we want as much as we can get. So we're going to make sure that no stone is unturned as we start fleshing out some of these processes.
You guys hear like that $22 trillion Bitcoin challenge is absolutely real. And shout out to CZ Binance. He says this: building wealth isn't about timing the market perfectly.
But then I've also seen Letnick and others talk about.
It's about staying in the game long enough. If you can't hold during red days, you won't make it. Now, he's not saying when it's in the green days, don't sell. You guys could choose what you do. I know a lot of people do need those funds. But again, what you may position yourself to sell, is it really going to help you? Are you in a position that you have enough tokens, and not just Elon, but your portfolio of digital currencies? This is the game. We're not just stuck on dogelon-mars, but we also hold other real world use assets. So, I mean, your portfolio has to be right. Do you understand? So it's like you're saying, okay, I got $1 billion and we run up to 4 zeros. Yeah, if that's able to change your lifestyle. So let me just do a calculation right quick. On 1 billion tokens of Elon, just 1 billion, we're just talking that low right quick. All right. 1 billion.
I was going to say, while you're doing that, I'm going to have to go in like 2 minutes. So go ahead.
So 4 zeros, 8. That's 80 grand. So if you guys are comfortable with 80 grand sitting at 4 zeros, do what you have to do. But honestly, this is the reason why we say accumulate DCA, do what you can. Don't stress yourself of investing into these digital currencies, but also understanding that you are planning out for your future. So, Meme Lord, I'm going to let you run it, bro. And then we'll end it after that.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't know. Sorry about that.
Well, you good, you good,
Something,
good.
yeah, something came up because tomorrow I have to get blood platelets, so
Right.
they were calling me. Anyways, I say have an exit strategy on everything. Just don't hold Dogelon on Mars. Like I hold like seven different assets or seven different cryptos. You know, you always want to balance out your portfolio and always have an exit strategy. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you say you have, let's say 2 billion Elon, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna sell half at this price and the other half at that price, you know, or any other crypto. Always have a good exit strategy because you don't want to get stuck, you know, holding any bag. And then when everybody's selling, you're like, oh man, I lost out, you know? So always have a good exit strategy. You know what's coming, you know what's getting released. You know the devs aren't playing, you know, they're not making promises they can't keep.
Right.
So I would say accumulate when you can. You know, don't spend all your money if you don't have it, or if you have bills. You know, don't throw it all in there and leave yourself with no money. But I would say anytime you see a dip, buy the dip. No financial advice because you know what's coming and you know what they're doing with all these tariffs. You know what's happening. It's all for all the big wigs to make all their money off the retail investors, but you guys are smart enough not to let that happen.
Facts. Facts. And he's speaking truth, man. So again, man, if you guys are not, you know, accumulating, or you're just saying like, I'm tired of buying at the 12s, what if we drop down to the thousands? You get what I'm saying? Listen, I mean, at any other price, if you have the funds and you're ready to invest what you can. You know, even at the 12s, even at the thousands, even at the 1400s. Because at the end of the day, once we knock off this zero, that's major gains. Look at it like that, family. But honestly, like what me and Lord said, we could be sitting at a high three zeros. High three zeros. So
And I think real quick, the devs know that because have you noticed Rufus on his handkerchief? Always the three zeros. They
yeah.
wouldn't be saying that. They wouldn't be saying that if they knew what they were building, and they know what they're building, and they know what's coming.
And
Like I
this is
said, the super cycle.
You're right. And this is what, since you said that, you see what Mystic Mars, and you pointed this out, 3 zeros has been coded to burn. Now, we're not saying could happen after the great burn, but again, they have been indicating 3 zeros. But shit, things could change. Things can change. So once again, I greatly appreciate everybody locking in. And I greatly appreciate you, Meme Lord, taking out your time to get on this live stream. You know, we were supposed to been doing this live stream a month ago. So get yourself well, and we will be back. And I appreciate everybody. Meme Lord, you want to say anything, brother?
I appreciate everybody sending me the prayers every day, saying, you know, checking up on me. You know what? I'm doing great. You know, and looks like, you know, Brown is doing great too. So that's good. You know, like I said, if we don't keep ourselves healthy, we're worthless. So I'm glad to see you doing better. I've been praying for you as well. And like I say, thank you to everybody. I'm hanging in there. It looks like I'll be okay. Just a little bit of bumps in the roads and a little bit of a fight. But who doesn't have to fight in this world? You know, like what does it say? Like Tupac said, fighting to live and living to die, basically.
Right. That's basically what
All
we
right,
do.
exactly. But at least we're here. We're healthy-ish, and we know what's going to happen, and we're in a good place with crypto. So
Yeah,
I got to be thankful for that. All
definitely.
right, well, all right, buddy. Well, it was nice hearing from you, and thank you everybody who attended. We appreciate it.
Appreciate you, Meme Lord. Take care. And before I end this, guys, I want to tell you guys this, man. Understand this. There's a lot of people around the world knows about dogelon-mars. I'm telling you guys that right now. I had somebody call me from Chicago. There's a couple of them. Mario, he went to a salon to take his daughter, and he overheard them talking about dogelon-mars, just in crypto in general. And he was like, yeah, I invested in that token. And they were like, yeah. We watch Crypto Brown. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to have financial freedom. So it's not about them watching me. They're paying attention. The world is paying attention, but they're ready to see green, and that's when they really will accumulate. But definitely when we knock off this zero. So once again, family, I greatly appreciate you guys tapping in, locking in with me. Understand this journey, yeah, it's been long and we've been like rocking and rolling. But again, if you don't believe in this, it's on you. You understand? Again, investing is not supposed to be stressing. Now, if you stressing and you're tired of hearing that, you're tired of dealing with the market fluctuations or whatnot, I mean, it's your money. I can't tell you do with your own money. Again, this is my documentary, family. And again, I know we will witness financial freedom. I'm going to let Dan Pena talk to you.
Right now, on November 8th, I announced that when Mr. Trump, whether you love him or hate him, this was the beginning of the greatest transformation of wealth the world has ever fucking seen since World War II. See, I know what he was going to do. I know what he's going to do now. And he hasn't even got started. Now, what are you going to tell your kids and your grandkids 25 years from now when they say, gee, Daddy, gee, Grandpa, what were you doing other than having your thumb up your big fucking ass during the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of the world? What were you fucking doing? Fuck all, nothing. That's what most of you will tell them, your grandchildren and your children. It's never going to get any better than this, kids. This is the, as I said on YouTube, the eye of the perfect motherfucking storm. This is it. I never thought I'd live to see it again. This is going to make the 80s look like a nursery rhyme, which I praise Allah, praise Buddha, praise God. I participated in slashing and raping everybody in the 80s, legally. This is going to make that look like a fucking nursery rhyme. And what are you going to tell your kids? Oh, I had to spreadsheet it. I had to think about it. I had to read another book on M&A, you fucking morons. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.